or yeah, I'll do Tableau, and then we'll get back to Columbia Story if we had that. Now, another data visualization tool, which is very, very beautiful, and we use it at work a lot. My team manage Tableau in supply chain, and I give them certification as well, give them very hard tests, much harder than you do. This Tableau is specifically for data visualization. As you saw, as we're working in R, visualization is not very easy. I have to create a frequency table and then put plot and then write main for title and name the x-axis and y-axis. Cumbersome. But it is good to know that you can do that in R. How about this tool, which you can use on any in any company, I would say the one that I know, and it is specifically for data visualization. All right, so what are we going to analyze in Tableau is the credit risk data, which you know, I believe, and we have talked about this multiple times, but first step to use any data in any tool is to go to the source, which is the data set, and look at it. So in Lab 06, I ask you to do things in Tableau, okay, and paste the picture that comes from Tableau, that you will export from Tableau to read the picture from your working directory to the RStudio and show me what you do. Most of the things here is create something in Tableau, export the picture, and then show me the result in the result of the picture, and then later you will submit the HTML. Okay, so I look at the data. I have loan purpose. If you remember, you've done even modeling for this data, checking and saving for the person who is lending. Sorry, the person who has the loan. How many months that person has been a customer with the bank? How many months the person was employed, the gender, the marital status, the age of that person who has the loan, the housing, does she or he own or rent, how many years they have been renting or owning, the job they do, skillful, not skillful, skilled or not skilled, sorry, and the credit risk of that person who is getting the loan is high, low, or medium. So, how many? That's one thing. I look at the columns and I look at the number of rows, and I see that I have 426, excluding then the heading, so I will have 425 data points. Rows, and then I need to read in Tableau. Anyone here doesn't have Tableau on the machine or able to open it on the class laptop? Can you all have Tableau open now? Perfect. So in order to start, you need to connect Tableau to a data. This is exactly equivalent to read.csv that you do in R, but here it's much easier. All you need is to connect. So I should connect to a text file, because CSV is a text file. It's a comma delimited text file. We can open it in Excel, but the nature of the file is text. So when you're opening CSV, you should use connect to a text file. As you can see here, you can connect Tableau to everything on earth. From Excel to GSON. Who remembers what GSON is? Somebody from this side. That's right. GSON. What was GSON? GSON. Please. Oh, yes. Exactly. Imagine that no SQL now you can visualize it. Everything. If you go to server, you can connect to Oracle, the ERP, to Amazon, Microsoft SQL Server, and many more. I connect to Tableau server, and I connect even to data warehouse and to Oracle at the company, and I do all my visualization. So let's go to text file. And that text file is much easier than reading data in R. But again, this is not good for statistical analysis, which we will do next sessions, predictive and prescriptive. It's good for visualization. So you cannot substitute R completely, but you can substitute the visualization part of it and do it in Tableau. All right, so now I can see my working directory. I don't have to specify. Just by connecting to the file, I can see those two text files available in my working directory. I am connected to credit risk because I have specified it and I clicked on it, but I can see the other one available because now we are reading from that folder, which is the working directory. So I can see here I'm connecting to the right file. I can look and see that I have all the columns and they all have the right heading. That is good. Another thing that I should look at is the data type for each column. So here I can see that this column has string data, which is text. If by mistake Tableau read loan purpose and assign the wrong data type, you can change. You can change because if by mistake it gave a date, for example, for some reason, you can just make it string again at this point. Here I can see numbers and decimal because Tableau identifies those values as whole numbers, not integers. So you will see that I have number decimal, or decimal, not whole. You can also have it as number, which is whole, without decimal. Here you are specifying data type, and if you remember, we talked in the first class about data type. That is why, because when you're reading your data, you have to identify how and what type each tool assigns to each column. R also does the same thing, and we use the class function to know what kind of data type are assigned for each variable. But here it's much more visual to see the data type. I can also see that I can connect to the file as live. That means whatever changing in the file immediately changes in Tableau, or as an extract. An extract, you don't have to worry about that, just connect live for now. But just for your information, an extract is a copy that Tableau can take from that file at the moment you connect it, and you can refresh. I use in my company extract because I'm reading from a data warehouse. I cannot connect live, or each query and each filter will take a very long time. So I extract every day once in the morning. Tableau extracts from the data warehouse and publish to the feed. So you will see a snapshot from the morning and the next day. But for now, it's a small data, and we only were working with small data in this class, connect live. Now I can go to sheet. In the sheet, I can see that Tableau split my fields into dimensions and measure. Where did we hear about dimension in the class? If you remember. Dimensions. Last schema is dimension and fact. Tableau is designed, not 100%, to read from a star schema. So it looks at everything quantitative and it assumes that lives in the fact, which is not necessarily true. Because sometimes you have an item number or an ID, and that's a number, and then it puts it here. And it shouldn't. It should belong to the dimension section. And it looks at everything else that you can categorical variable and consider them as part of it. Another way of looking at dimension and measure, so you don't confuse yourself with the star schema, is to say measures are the things that we want to measure. What does that mean? I want to sum, I want to average, I want to take the maximum off, or the minimum off, or the median, or something like that. The dimensions are the things that I want to measure the measures by. For example, I want to take the sum of checking by loan purpose. Whatever comes after by fits a dimension. So if you see that Tableau assigned a dimension under measure or something that should be in the dimension, but you see it in here like I mentioned, ID, or maybe you will see one of the values that should be in the measure, that the things that you want to perform operation on and take the sum and calculate. If you see them here, you have to flip them to the measure, and the way you do that is by right click, convert to measure, or right click, convert to dimension. For now, I think Tableau classifies them correctly. Everything in measure is something I want to measure. Everything in dimension is something I want to measure by. Clear to this point, or you have a question before I move on? Yes. Wonderful question. Very good. So there are other things that I can do at this view. One is to do another specification for data type. You can specify data type at the point where you read the data or inside the visualization sheet. The second one is to classify the variable, the numeric variable, as discrete or continuous. So that is why we started talking in the beginning of the class data type with numeric, discrete, and continuous. Because treating discrete and continuous is different. For example, calculating distribution for a discrete variable is different from calculating distribution for a continuous variable. Visualizing discrete variable is different from visualizing continuous variable, because continuous variable can be uninterrupted trend line. However, a discrete variable can be a trend line, but in terms of dots. It cannot be linked because it's not continuous. It only has specific values that can fit. So, also Tableau looks at your data and decides this is discrete, this is continuous. I mean the numeric value. So if you think Tableau misidentified one of them, you can make it discrete and continuous as you go. I wouldn't do that at this stage. I will do it after I use it in the canvas. That's what I call the canvas, where you draw your visualization. Because then you can see which one you want to keep continuous, which one you want to move to discrete, depending on how you would like to visualize. But for now, that is what it is. So we have measures, dimension, and the other things that you can do, and you can change the data type for each one. You can also, if you have a city or state or zip code, you can identify geographic role, and that will help you create an actual map. And then Tableau will go on the map and assign a location on the map for this data point. Here we don't have addresses, but if you do, you can identify whether it's a city, it's a country, it's a state, or it's a zip code. All right, I have something here called number of records. If I take it to here, it sums. The first thing that I can tell you that when you're taking a measure to the canvas consists of columns and rows. So you can put things on the columns or on the rows, and then the visualization starts, the drawing starts. The first thing that happens when you take a measure and you put it here in the canvas, that an aggregation function is applied, and the default function is sum. So this is taking the number of records and summing, and giving you one value, and this value is 425, which is how many records do I have in the data. So the field number of records has the value of 1 in each line. When you sum them, you will get 425, which is the number of records. It's a good function to have in case you want to count the number of records per something, per a dimension, any dimension, or per a categorical value. All right. So, I'm just putting a couple of notes there. Now, here you also have, you can bring a dimension and try to count the number of records or the number of loans per each loan type. So here I can see the loan type, which is business or the loan purpose, education, furniture, and here I can see the count. And then I can decide on changing the chart. This chart doesn't really look good. It's a vertical bar chart. It's not showing me enough information about the number of loans per each loan type. So I can select using show me here, show me the horizontal bar chart. And now that looks good. I can see quickly I created a bar chart for the count of loans or the frequency in the data set per or by loan purpose. If I want to do it in R, I need to create a frequency table and then use the bar plot. Now you did it just drag and drop and then select your chart, and that looks good. Here you can add filters. For example, you can click this and select apply, okay. Select all, and then show the filter. You can see only male, none, only female, or all. So you're filtering by gender as well. You are able to add a filter. And this, we'll talk about in Q, which is how I can use color and size and text in here to add more information. Very easy, drag and drop, drag and drop. Yes.
Can you repeat that stuff I missed?
The filter? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am now looking at loan per count of rows or number of rows per or by loan purpose. What if I want to look at only male or only female? I bring gender to filter, select all, apply, okay, right click, show filter, and here I can filter, right? So that's filters and marks. In the ribbon here, I can save the workbook that I'm working, that I'm creating. I can save the Tableau workbook basically. So I'll save it now here in my desktop. I saved it. You can also export the workbook. Don't really know to worry about that now. Data, this is about the data set, that changing properties of the data set that you are working with. Here, the worksheet, which is this, the sheet or the visualization sheet that you have, you can export an image, save it, and now if I go to here, I can see this image. Okay, on the worksheet, export image. Now you have the picture. This is what you can push to after you finish the visualization. Those are the things you can see. Check and see in the ribbon what you can find. Copy, you can copy the data here. Analysis here, this is more for more advanced calculations. Format, that's in general, you have a couple of options. So we talked about the number of records, which is kind of help you to create that frequency table, and then you select the chart that you want to see. Now, you can also change what kind of aggregation is applied on the measure. By default, any measure I add to the counter here, like number of records, the first thing that Tableau does is apply the sum function for that measure. So it's sum the number of records by loan purpose. But I can do other than sum by right click on the measure and then going here to measure, and then I can select do I want the average, do I want the median, do I want the count, do I want the minimum, the maximum. You can do any kind of aggregation function for your measure. So for example, me remove this, right click remove, and I bring checking. Now I have, see, I click on show me, and then I select I want the horizontal bar chart. I have the sum of checking accounts by each loan purpose. So the sum of checking accounts of all those lenders, those borrowers, by loan purpose. But what if I want the average instead of the sum? I can do right click, average, and now I have the average checking account for the borrowers by loan purpose. I can select, right click, maximum. That is the maximum checking account of the borrowers by each loan purpose. So just think about that when you have a measure and you add it to the canvas. There is a function, an aggregation function that is applied. First default function is sum, but you can change it. For now, we will go back to our number of records and keep it like this as a sum. So as you saw, show me gives me the options of charts that I can create given what I have added to columns and rows or to my canvas. So it's telling me you can use bar chart, vertical, you can use a pie chart, you can use this bubble chart. So let's play a little bit and see, just to know which one is better. See, by clicking on pie chart, Tableau added loan purpose to color. So now each color now represents one loan purpose. And the sum of number of records is the size of each slice in the pie chart. Then I can also increase the view so I can see better by selecting here instead of standard entire view, so I can see everything. And I can also, if I want to see the number of records as a text on each slice in the pie chart, I can add some number of records to text here. I can see. I can also add loan purpose to text. So I can see the name of loan purpose in addition to differentiating loan purpose by color. So now I have a pie chart. Drag and drop, much easier than using R for that. So I can select my chart and I can use this marks here to add, yes?
So are there more sections of the pie chart than there are like numbers and loan purpose sections? Like some of the little sections don't have names.
Like what? This?
Also, it's not gonna show all of them on the outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because, you know, there's
Not
enough
enough
information you can put. But you can hover over and you will see that little one. Very interactive. Okay? Even here, if you click on one color, you highlight. One click. You need to play with it and see what you can. Right, but that's what you can do in Show Me. You can select your chart. You can also remember this entire view or standard. You can select, but here seems entire view is better. You can create a new sheet, or you can even duplicate the sheet. So in case you want to create two sheets, almost the same page, but you change a few things in the other one, you can duplicate or create a new sheet. So let's do something with one variable, which is numeric, like age. What do you think I should use as a chart for that? If I want to visualize age by its own, without category. variable?
Histogram?
Histogram, yes, histogram. So I will have this new sheet. I will add age. Like the first thing that Tableau did, because as it does any measure, it takes the measure and performs the sum function. So it sums all the age values in all the 425 rows, and it gave me the 14,619. It means nothing, it is useless, because nobody summed it. So how can I create a histogram? I go to my friend Show Me. And Show Me is telling me now that the only two options that I have to create as a chart is histogram or bar chart. So Tableau is smart, depending on what you have given and what you have added to the canvas, it selects for you the most appropriate chart. So now it's telling you, it's pushing you to select the right chart. Instead for you to make that call, now you can rely on Show Me to tell you which one, or the list at least, of allowable charts that you can use given what you have already added to the canvas. So I added to the canvas one numerical variable, which is 8. So it's telling me you can use histogram or bar chart. I will use histogram. Done. Now we have a histogram. You want to see the numbers as text? See this text tape, text button, click on it. Now you have the numbers as well. And now you have a histogram. Much easier than ours. Add the measure to the canvas on the rows or column, and then select Show Me, click on histogram, you have a histogram. As you can see, as in R, our friend Tableau created the bins based on the values of age. So it's telling me between, maybe this is 17 probably, and 23, I have 24 records. So I have 24 borrowers with the age between 17 and 23. And I have 97 borrowers between 23 and 26. So that's how the bins are created. And as you can see in the columns, age bin was created automatically. So you don't have to do anything but just select histogram as a chart, and then Tableau will create the bins for you and will visualize the chart. Just by drag and drop and then selecting one chart. Now what if I want to change the bins? Create new bins. Currently, the bin that was created by Tableau here in dimension, you can see. Right click, edit, you will see that the size of the bin or the length of it is 7.37. So each bin has a length of 4.37. Why? That's what Tableau thought is best given the data in this variable. But I can create a new bin, right click, create bin, and I define a different length. And then I can use it. So let's say I want to have 8 here. Then I use this one. That's a different histogram from the previous one. But you can always rely on the bins that are created automatically by Tableau, and they are usually good. Just in case you were curious how to create bins. Okay, how can I see here male and female information on the same chart? So I have the histogram, which is the frequency of age buckets, but I want to see also the frequency per gender. I want to see the distribution of age and per gender as well. What is a good way to do it? What do you want? What do you think I should do? color. See, it's very intuitive. I'll bring gender and put it here. There you go. If you click on show me and then click again, it disappears. So in case you want to see what is on it. So female is blue and male is yellow. And then you can see the distribution of each. So you can say now that between 23 and 26, I have 46 female, and 51 male. Very easy. Drag and drop. Alright? And you can, as I mentioned, export, worksheet, export, image, save, and then I open it. Sheet 2 looks very beautiful. You can use it in presentation, you can use it in R Studio, you can add it to your presentation in the final task, everything. Alright. So next, I want to find the relationship between age and month employed. Is there any relationship between age of borrower and the number of months he or she was employed? I'll bring age to column and month employed to row, and I have one data point. I cannot see a scatter plot because Tableau by default sums the measures. So it summed all months employed in the 425 record, and it summed all ages in the 425 record, and it gave me one data with two coordinates, one for month employed and one for age. So it tells me that the sum of all ages is 14,000 and the sum of all months employed is 13,500. That doesn't mean anything. I want to see individual data points. I want to see 425 data points basically. So what should I do to separate them? You can do this. Right click, dimension, right click, dimension, and now you have a scatter. Again, that's how you do undo. It is summing both and giving me one data point. I do right click, dimension, right click, dimension, and now I have a scatter plot. Add gender, now I have a scatter plot colored by gender. Take gender out, bring me marital status, I have scatter plot by marital status. And I can see identified patterns. So for single people, I can see some kind of a positive correlation between age and month employed. For divorced people, maybe more or less, I don't know. You can now do your analysis for correlation quickly. Married people, maybe more or less. You tell me, based on what you see. That's a scatter plot. You bring two measures and you put them in the count. You can also add some text here. Right click, annotate, do like this, like this chart. Now you have the text. You can, if you want to write some comments, something here, you can write it, and then you can export, image, save. How wonderful is that? Much better than visualization. Very powerful tool. And you can't imagine, we'll do here only visualization for Tableau. The amount of calculation that you can also do in Tableau is perfect. So we use it a lot for calculation, not only visualization, but for this class, we only use it for visualization. Right? So this is multiple things you have to do, you can do in Tableau. I think I covered everything. Then read through the lab 6 and see what I want you to do in Tableau and create them in Tableau, export the image and add them. Now in the remaining time, I want to talk about the group project. Before group project, for next class, as we are expecting, we might go online, I'll send an email, I'll tell you whether we're going online next and moving forward or not. And if we are, I'm gonna share the Zoom information. Again, you will have it in the email, you will access, we will have our class at 7 p.m. next Wednesday as usual on Monday. If not, I will also let you. But for now, assume in person until I let you. Alright, for the group project, number 1, here you can see your groups. So you can use the remaining time, even after the class, to connect who is in group. You can do that now. Who is here in group 1? Based on the next. So you guys, I would say, move together. Group 2, move together. So, yeah, it's there. The people who are in your group, but you can't see them in the class, you have their names, you can go on Sakai and send them an email. You know how to do that? You select the student as the role and you select the student's name and send them an email. That's group 2. Group 3. Group 3. Back and then group 4. Right, so you have it on Sakai. Please, each group, meet each other, share your contact information. Use the remaining time to plan for next step. Share your contact information. And please, in the lecture, I have added some notes here for group project in the lecture. Read them because they are very important. On Friday, you will all send me project leader. You will pick, each group will pick the leader, will send me email and tell me, I am the leader, our group name is this, pick up my name, and those are my emails. Alright, meet your friends.
Group 5?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was just thinking, because I have a feeling in the next couple of days, like obviously, like I feel like there's probably someone out there they probably haven't realized they couldn't even be one of us. I think it's, yeah, that's right.
So I would say just email in the group, the email.
No, I think what we should do is tell everyone and send their numbers. So I think what is, and then I think if we can like at least decide on a schedule, because so Tuesdays I'm free after 1 o'clock, 3:45, and then I meet on Tuesday.
Well, when's
I think Wednesdays I'm free from 1:30 to 6.
I mean, I can always make my lunch like whatever. Unless she said I would personally have to meet you.
Guys, you have to meet online, You don't have to meet in person. We're Zoom together, I think.
What about other days?
My kids off, I mean, how does that make sense?
I think if it's gonna be online, like on a specific day, at like evening, like after 5. Obviously, if we're gonna do evening, it's not gonna be possible for like other classes. Because I think in our group, like every single person, like at least at one point, like on Wednesdays, there's someone who has called after 1:30, someone else has after 4:15, and then we have this back. And what we'll do is I think we're struggling to find
My computer's, what did you say?
Oh,
That was really like scary.
Yeah.
Oh, I can put in the group chat like that's her name. Exactly. Yeah. Right. It'll just be like a really bad hangover. It's fine. Okay. Maybe I will see you guys before the end of the semester, but maybe not. Yeah.
our number.
Yeah.
we'll figure out.
Inform.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And when you send in that email, can you just like CC us on it?
I'll CC you.
Okay, awesome.
As long as you guys put like your email on the Google Doc.
Yeah, I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you guys.
I like
Zion, how's it going, dude?
Nothing much wrong. I'm just out of my mind.
How are you taking this whole coronavirus thing, dude?
Sorry. I mean, I'm in general. I like to believe I'm a hygienic guy, so I always wash my hands.
Same. No, I got you.
So real, right?
Uriel, yeah.
Yeah, he said that there's some guy in Baumhart who might have got.
Shut up.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how true this is, but there's rumors that there's two confirmed cases, one in San Fran, one in Baumhart.
Oh, really, San Fran?
I know about the one in San Fran because there's the one in Baumhart as
There's
well.
rumors that there's one in Baumhart, yeah. And that staff are hiding it.
Why would they hide it?
Well, I know why they would hide it because they don't want that would
Kids freaking out.